Sam, we've seen this circulating online a lot of places. Do you think this is a win or get fired situation for Pat Noonan? Is he coaching for his job on Saturday?
I don't think so. I don't think he's coaching for his job, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people are upset, and there's a lot of stats that honestly back up the upset FC Cincinnati fans, right? Rightfully so. Pat really hasn't shown up in the big moments. I mean, you win 2023 Supporters Shield and you show longevity, but in the tournaments, Ryan, he has not made a single final in 11 tournaments as a head coach for FC Cincinnati. So it goes to show, like, yeah, you can do well during the regular season, but when it matters most, when it comes to other competitions, where are we at? Are we changing game plans for those other competitions? Every season, he talks about, oh, we're going to learn from this tournament, right? And next year we're going to go deeper. It has yet to be seen, but I don't think this game is make or break, just because of the fact that he is such a quality coach, right? He brings the best out of a lot of players. I mean, obviously you saw what he has done with Evander, right? Evander played really well with the Timbers. He's played even better with FC Cincinnati, right? So maybe that's just the quality of players that Evander's playing with, right? Maybe he's playing in a better stadium. I don't, like, all these things are factors, but you have to give Pat Noonan credit as far as consistency, being able to get FC Cincinnati into those places to win.
Well, it sounds like
you
you're
get over the hump.
conflicted. Like, at least at the first part, you're saying how in big games, we're not showing up and we're not making the finals. But the same token, like, he's been proven to show like the most wins of any coach, during this stretch. So
that's where it is tough. That's where it is tough.
yeah. I think from, like, if you look on paper, like, we've gotten the wins, but from a fan standpoint, is it the prettiest soccer, and is it the best version of the team that we could have seen based on who we had available? I think that's what a lot of people would question. What I would defend Pat Noonan on is that, when has he had his best 11 available consistently throughout the last two seasons? Obviously coaches have to be able to adapt and modify, and that's been our kryptonite. If X, Y, and Z doesn't work and Alvis Powell has to start, in the playoffs, is it going to be a next man up situation where that guy can come in and make a difference? Well, where during the season have we been able to see where these guys have been able to play together and to build that confidence together? You haven't. You've really had to rely upon the guys that have, that you've trusted. And then, now Engel's out, Hagglund's out. So from there, then you have to rely upon, how do these guys fill into the system? And if the system isn't setting you up to succeed, then is it a system problem? Is it getting those guys in a better tactically positioned, thing? Or even from an attacking standpoint, Sam, is this the best that we're going to get out of the three that we have in that way? That's a deeper conversation, but I just feel like it's hard to press him on this because, like, Miazga hasn't been available, Engel hasn't been available. But at the same token, I want to say, like, you still have to find your way through this, and you still have so much quality on the team. So how can we find the best out of these players? Have we made the best decisions in, starting who we did in this past match? All of this can be thrown out the window if we win on Saturday. All of it, and people are so quick to come at him about, is this his job? Is he fighting for this and that? Like, I would be so frustrated, and I'm going to be frustrated if that happens on Saturday. But at the same token, like, we have to kind of break it down into a situation by situation thing.
Yeah, you got to take
where are we
yourself.
at?
You got to take yourself out of the emotion,
For
right?
sure.
That is, a detrimental 4-0 loss, right? But we still have game 3, right?
Yeah.
If we
We
win
won
game
game
3,
one, right?
exactly.
If we didn't win game one, we wouldn't have been in that position to go to the
But
next
you're
round.
saying, like, look at the bigger picture. Look at what he has brought to this franchise. Like, what was before Pat Noonan, right?
That's
Like,
always going to be the argument. I think what fans want is more now. What's the
no,
next
yeah,
step?
and
He
that
took us
is
out of the cellar, but
it.
what's the ceiling?
Both sides are very fair. Both
100%.
sides are very fair. Once again, like you said, game 3, show up, it all goes away.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's maybe a good time to, like, bring it up and to say, but
Oh, yeah.
is it a good time to like bring it up as well?
Well,
Like
you put a little pressure. You got to add a little
maybe that's a
pressure.
good thing. Maybe that is what, the team needs to boost ourselves forward. You would think that in the playoffs, we're in the first round, you're playing your rival. That's enough on itself to get these guys motivated or get the coaching staff to do what they can. But yeah, I mean, 4-0 is just not acceptable in a playoff game like that. I think the underlying numbers are obviously terrible. I don't think it was a 4-0 result if we have all 11. And if we look at like the subs that were made, it was made in a way that best sets us up for game 3. So does it truly say like we got slammed? Is this the best we've seen from the Crew, in 2 years? No. They fed off of a situation where like they were just going to pounce on it. It was literally just put into their lap. And like we were talking about it on the broadcast too, or our live show, is it a product of what we did or of what they did? A lot of it was mistakes by us. So, I mean, there's a lot of room to improve, but you're in the playoffs. You're in your third game in the first round. Like, it's again going back to the question we had after the summer transfer window. Do we have enough time to get these guys to gel together in big moments?
And that's what we thought, right? When Brennan was cooking,
Here we are.
Evander was cooking, Denke all three of them were cooking here at the end of the season, and we looked at it and went, man, like
It could be good.
He did it. He did
Yeah.
it. Like very rare does this ever happen where you bring in a guy, especially a number 9, right, into the squad, a new number 9 up top with your record-breaking signing, and immediately like both are able to contribute.
Yeah, it's got to be in high quality moments now. Like the next step is you got to be able to play and do this at a level or in a time where you're playing your rival in the playoffs when it's do or die. That's when you really show your grit and what you got. So we're going to find out again a lot about this team on Saturday and how they respond and if this is what they want. Ultimately, like we want it. Clearly,
Yeah.
look at the way we're talking about it. But do the players want it just as bad? Do they listen to the message that the coach is saying, or is he setting them up for failure? Like, I think it's a little bit of both.
Gotta balance
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I know. It's very interesting. Again, there's a lot of talk about it. We could go all day long about that. I think it's again an interesting conversation. In like comparing it to other teams around the league, like would making the playoffs just be enough for some other teams like that hardly even make it?
Yeah.
Probably would, but like look at the monies that has been spent this year and last year, and bringing these guys in and like trying to get them to gel. Like you would think that could be a little bit better maybe based on what we have, but is that the right set of players? Or, all of that is a bigger conversation.